have $400 set aside for a medical emergency. And being that we are going through a global pandemic and most people don't have much money to work with, resources are low for lots of people. There are people in cities going hungry. And basically creating the Craigslist that we need right now. So it's a platform where people can post things for free or for trade. So it's taking money out of the equation. And basically, the main goal is to get extra resources where they're needed. And then as well as items, you can also post things you can do. Like, for example, online services, you could help tutor somebody, and it'll, so our mission is to, not only get those resources where they're needed, but also to build connections. And then long-term, our vision is to build community.
Excellent. Okay, so I love it. Again, I think there's just so much fantastic stuff being built. I think the Craigslist we need right now is very powerful. And so if we go back to the wow, how, and now, I think that's the wow, because I immediately got that. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not out looking to sell my last iPhone right now. That is not important. So the Craigslist I need right now, is as you've described. And I think the how, and I try to watch my own cognitive process as I listen to people explain something or pitch something. And again, it is just something that is so hard, is you grab me with the Craigslist we need right now, and then I sort of drifted. So just sort of watching, not a value, judgment, or criticism, just sort of watching myself.
No.
And so,
I want feedback.
yeah, so I think the solution to that is to pick 2, maybe 3 anecdotes, right? So, or rather examples. And so, I'm Shannon Kimmel. We're building the Craigslist, the Craigslist you need right now to do X, Y, and Z, right? So you've got lots of examples. Pick 2 or 3. Make them punchy, right? So that's the how in a way, and then it could be the now. Not to try to refine this too much right now, but the idea being, you grab me with that headline, now sort of substantiate it with 2 or 3 examples, and then I think you went into a couple of stories which started to kind of pick me. I started to lean forward again, right? And so I think you're real close. And again, I think it's just scripting and refining and rehearsing a little bit. But yeah, I think it all comes down to making me help me visualize, right? Help me picture a person and or a few specific scenarios, and I think you're in a real strong position.
Okay, thanks so much, Shawn.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Priya, do you want to go?
Yes, sure. Sorry. Hi, Shawn.
Hi.
So starting with the problem, the world is in lockdown. The world is in quarantine. People are isolated. Isolation can lead to catastrophic implications on mental health, low mood, stress, and anxiety. And we know from past experience, quarantine has increased this by more than 400%. Inactivity can lead to a whole host of ailments, whether it's musculoskeletal, obesity, diabetes, and increases the risk of mortality from coronary heart disease by 35%. This has wider implications not only to the individual, society, economy, but also to the already overwhelmed healthcare systems. We know that exercise is proven to reduce the burden of these diseases, but the gyms are closed, classes are unavailable, videos and apps are impersonal and boring. We are proud to tackle isolation and inactivity by removing the barriers to exercise through our online platform, Wellnest, where users can exercise anytime and anywhere. They can watch and connect with other users globally, so they will never feel alone or isolated. But also, they can connect with an instructor who supports and motivates them in real time. Our wow factor is that our users can compete with one another through our compatible heart rate device, making it a fun and inspired community. And we know that 70% of users state that tracking their progress and competing improves their physical health. I got a bit lost with the putting in loads of data points, but that's sort of
Yeah,
list I was
fantastic.
going for. Yeah.
Love it. And clearly you've done work. And if I recall, Priya, this is something you've been incubating for some time now, if I recall from Slack.
Well, for the hackathon, yes.
Oh, okay, so this is all in the hackathon. Okay, I thought I perhaps misread that you had been cooking something up prior. So very powerful. I think so. You face a challenge that so many do, which is you're an expert, and you're a doctor. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Right. So don't be a doctor. I have to tell you not to be a doctor. And the challenge, and we see this, in academia and other fields, is it is so hard to turn off that expert mind and use terminology and phrasing. One of the things that I've found, and I've taken a number, and again, I use myself as an example, only one example, is I've needed to go through some copywriting, some contemporary copywriting classes to learn how to break the rules. And so that's a long way of me saying, shorten your sentences, be punchy, break the grammar and punctuation rules, use common terminology, help me connect as a layperson, right? Because your audience are not physicians, at least in this. And again, this is not a knock, it's just the thing we all do. Your audience are venture capital guys and gals. They are entrepreneurs themselves, and they are domain experts in other domains, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, not to belabor that, but I think that's number one. I think you've clearly got a narrative here that's meaningful. You mentioned a hardware device, which again is that greater solution, so that's fantastic. I think the flow is what will be key, and that's shorter, punchier. Don't expect me to remember more than 2 or 3 things per slide. And then I think, I can already see where it's going, and I think it's very strong. It's just a matter of what is it, the Fleshinger scale? I think, at least is that for reading comprehension? I think, and so generally you want to aim for 6th or 7th grade. Crazy enough, not because people are dumb, but because people lack attention. And as Adam said, it's about cognitive load. So I think you drop the cognitive load, make it shorter and punchier, and you're in fantastic shape.
Okay, wonderful. And do you think I should insert sort of the data points at the problem stage and then also at the solution stage? Because I think with something like exercise and inactivity, I'll just be repeating myself.
Right. Well, and I think, and this is where the typical approach, it's a great question. The typical approach would be that we create two versions of a given slide deck. If we were going to go out and pitch this to investors, there would be that sort of Steve Jobs Apple style one big number on the slide, and the weight of it is carried in my delivery. And then there would be the readable version that we send to those venture capital partners who aren't going to let us talk to them until they read the slides, right? Which is a thing. Jonathan nods because he's been there. And so they tell you, send me the deck, and then you'll get to deliver the deck, which is sort of a strange thing. Long way of answering your question is you'll get to deliver this, of course, but you'll also need to leave enough, perhaps even in the speaker notes, it's up to you, that gives them the sense of the detail. You may want to roll that all into impact, although I know it's part of your story. Like I think you said there was a 400%, and it's now gone, but it grabbed me in the moment.
Yeah. So there's from mental health implications such as stress, anxiety can be increased by 4%.
Right. And so that to me is a powerful supporting number.
Yeah.
But the real impact might be, and perhaps you have the research to say, we believe, for example, we can reduce that by 455% or whatever. And so the impact is intended to convey the outcome. Where that 400% is obviously about the problem. So I'm not giving you a very clear answer. If you can find the right way to put it on the slide, that's great. Otherwise, feel free to leave it for the recording and the pitch, the delivery.
Sure. Got it. Thank you so much, Shawn.
You're welcome.
Lena, do you want to go? Lena, can you hear us? You're on mute if you can hear us.
Okay, sorry.
It's
Can you
okay.
hear me? Yeah, hi. Yeah, actually, I'm not a presenter as I thought, but we already have a draft of our speech, and here we have Yanjin, if she's ready to talk or ask something.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Sure, absolutely.
I don't know. She's muted.
Everyone's on mute.
But yeah, I mean, from my side, I don't have questions. So
Okay.
if it's like this, I will prepare the last part too.
Sounds good. Oh, there we go. There's some slides there. Do we think she thinks that she's not on mute, maybe?
Sorry, I think that was just me trying to prepare.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, why don't you go next, Kostas?
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Surprise pitch. Yeah. This is not Shark Tank. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right, here we go. Right. So, hi, my name's Dr. Kostas Fantis, and I'm here to tell you about the Scandit, Encode Health, and Future Nova joint approach to COVID. And essentially, the problem that we're solving is that we all know that the coronavirus pandemic is probably going to continue until the end of 2020. However, there is a lack of visibility of test outcomes unless clinicians, admin, and lab technicians actually manually insert the data. And what we want to do is allow clinicians to do what they do best rather than to worry about all the admin side of things. Now, instead of going through some of the slides, what I'm going to do is show you a short video. But essentially, what we do is provide a platform that can data capture multiple sources of ID, the information from test kits and other devices, and we can insert that into a national healthcare passport that is individualized per patient.
hey, Costa, real quick. Sorry, I think you're advancing perhaps on your screen, but we're not seeing. So if you can go into presentation mode, so I can follow with you.
Yeah.
That's the present button up top right. Top right. Present.
Okay. What are you looking at right now then?
So the top right, if you go into presentation mode, not in your browser, but within Google Slides. So top right in the tab, top right with the top right.
Top right, right, sorry.
No worries. You're probably a PowerPoint guy like most of us. Go ahead.
So yeah, the lack of visibility, and what we do is provide a healthcare passport that is essentially linked to patients' virtual identity. And it's a single source of information where we can then provide dashboards to local healthcare services so that they can understand how much supplies they need, whether it's ventilators or whether it's masks for their clinicians. So what I'm going to do is essentially do a quick video for you to understand where we're at. Can you still see the video?
I was muted. Yes, I can. Thanks.
Fantastic. So Scandit provide the front end. And we provide the back end where all this information will be stored. And instead of having to export that data, it could go simply into our healthcare passport. So
Fantastic.
the X factor that we provide is the blend of expertise that we have both in front end, back end security, but the benefit of our back end security is that we can provide links to other innovative technologies. One second. Should have stopped that. All right. We've got a wide connection to lots of different high-level authorities. So Deloitte are actually interested in the services that we're providing. We've got connections to Apple, who on light terms might want to help put and install the healthcare passport, and also Samsung as well on that basis. We're still in negotiations with them, and it's one of the reasons why I wasn't actually able to attend yesterday, because we were having accelerated talks. How does it work, and what impact can we provide? We showed you the simple video, essentially agreed unique device identities are encoded into the platform. You can scan in the actual device and the information into the healthcare passport. And then once that's done, the information is split into regulatory compliant dashboards that various teams can use. And this information can be used for forecasting.
Hey, Kostas, I'm going to interrupt. Okay, great. Only because I think we want to make a room for others, but this is terrific. I mean, tremendous traction clearly already. The single bit of coaching I would offer, and again, classic challenge, is spend way more time on benefits than features. And
okay.
And now, you know, whether it's Apple, Deloitte, I mean, you're obviously making waves in a number of places. And I think I humbly suggest that this will help you no matter how far. I mean, you're far beyond the hackathon clearly in terms of already connecting with these large entities and potential partners. But I think what you will find, and this is not directed at you, it's general advice, is no one cares about the detailed features, right? Not generally, until they understand and appreciate the impact. Then they'll get interested, right? It's that whole peeling the onion thing. Yeah. And so I'm in Nashville, which you may know is a big healthcare city. And so we, within the US, we're arguably one of, if not the healthcare center in the country. And so lots of friends and colleagues in healthcare. And I'm sensitive to how genuinely innovative this is. But for a general audience, really try to focus on the impact and the outcomes. And so, for example, your impact slide, if I'm being really finicky about it, you've cleverly used that slide to tell us more about how it works. But really, what you want is what are the outcomes and the impact on the patient community, I presume, right?
Yes.
The impact on the healthcare community. And so,
I agree with you.
So all brilliant. And I think if you can pull back and really look at benefits, the sort of outcomes that you will deliver to your various segments of customers, then you'll draw me in and I'll ask the questions, right? I'll say, you know, and in fact, actually, it's a bit of a dance, not to get too philosophical about the whole thing, but we want to draw them in to a bit of a dance, and then, you know, lead them to a point. Maybe it's better to use the metaphor of a conversation, but we want to draw them into asking us more as opposed to just dump it all on them, you know?
Yeah.
But terrific, love it. And I think if you can make those adjustments, pull back on the details, pull back on the features, and focus on benefits and outcome, you're in great shape.
Okay, just making a note of that.
You bet. And I mean, the fact that you've already got the demo video, you know, to me, that was crafted quite well in terms of being able to to take me through why I should care about what you're building.
Yeah. Right.
Thanks so much, Costafantis.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Ying, are you there? Can you hear us? And would you like to give a pitch? Well, then with that in mind, I think maybe we call it. And if anyone would like to stick around and ask additional questions or anything like that, you're very welcome to.
Absolutely. Otherwise, feel free to get back to hacking.
Shawn will be likely on and off over the course of the afternoon. So ping him. He's at Shawn and he's got an organizer tag. You can always just send him a message if you'd like to ask any direct questions.
Yeah. Great work, everybody. Delighted to see what you're building. All the best. And I'll be around if you need any help.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah. I do have one more if, oh, he already left. Okay.
You can ask me, what would you like? What can I help you with?
Well, I was just wondering, at least for the developers, my team is kind of junior. And so I guess I just wanted to ask, I'm planning on, pulling out all the stops on, what was it? Not being humble and all that, but just also want to try and be realistic. And
yeah.
I guess I just wanted to ask, even if my team doesn't end up being what they want, but they want the app, it could still make a difference, right?
Yeah. There's two things I can speak to that will help you feel better. One is that it's the whole package that's being assessed, not any one thing. So you can't be sunk by a single element.
Okay.
And the second thing is that you want to illustrate that this is the right team to do this job, not necessarily that it's the best team to ever have existed. So you want to, like some of the illustration that can be most helpful with a very junior team is to say, this is the team that did this thing. You may not believe necessarily that they would be the best team in the world because they only have 6 years of experience between them. But the fact that they put a prototype together in less than 4.5 hours that can deliver this real meaning to the consumer base shows that they've got more than the expertise required in both the front end and back end development or whatever it would be.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Good luck, guys. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks.